Hello. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. I am Celestine and this is my camera roll. Let's get into the introduction. So, if you're new here, this channel is about me fighting through my adversity and things that I'm going through. Right now, I'm currently going through a case where I'm fighting for my son. I know that I want to put out a video about basically my psych eval and what they're saying that they want me to do. A lot of the recommendations are crazy, and my social worker that's working with me that gave me my case plan is not for it, because that's not what I'm here for. They're basically turning everything around and giving me things to do that has nothing to do with the case, i.e. they want me to get drug tested and alcohol tested, and for me to go through urine tests frequently to make sure there's no drugs and alcohol in my system when I don't even do them in the first place. I don't even so much as smoke a cigarette. They're also saying that I passed the MMPI test, which basically is a multiple personality test that claims whether I'm a psychopath or not. I passed that. There were no recommendations for that because basically I'm not a psychopath. They tried to assume that the reason why I came back that there's nothing wrong or there's no recommendations is because they felt like I was withholding information. There was no information to withhold because it was either yes or no, true or false. So the second part was where I sat down and talked to the psych evaluator, an assistant psych evaluator, and he questioned me about my life. He questioned me about things I had been through, and they basically used everything I said against me. And I did hold back on a lot of stuff because a lot of stuff is none of their business, and I choose not to tell everything. That's the issue. So basically they couldn't claim me to be a psychopath and they wanted to. But that's that, and I'll come back with a video to get in further depth of that. Now this video particularly is about the sperm donor that I laid with. And I said it, sperm donor. Now I will go into explanation as to how I got back with him and started dealing with him again, because I have no problem explaining that. Now, this man has been known to not take care of his children for quite a few years. This man has a lot of children. I also did see a comment, I caught it, baby, I caught it, where someone said I literally found out a week ago that we have the same baby daddy, and then the comment disappeared. But if you'd like to come forward, step up and let me know who you are. I believe you because he has so many children. Anyway, how I got back with him was I have a mutual friend who's also his child's mother, and he doesn't take care of her child. Now, how I ended up with him was she told him that I was back in town, and he basically spent the block. When he spent the block, we met up that same day or the second day. Now, it started off good. I was on a housing list. I was trying to go fill out for housing. He said, I'll take you. He was like, when's your appointment? I was like, at 9 o'clock in the morning. And he was like, okay. The first day we talked, that he got back in contact with me, he took me to the appointment, came back and got me. We went to his house, and before I had a conversation with him, I said, I cannot fool around with you unless you do something about our daughter that is in legal custody of someone else and you fight to get her back. That is specifically what I told him. He gave me no problem. He said okay. We ended up fooling around that day, and then after that, the next week later, he went and filed for custody, and I told him the steps to how to do it. I couldn't take custody of my child because I didn't have a place to stay, and you can't take custody of someone if you're not housed, and I was staying with someone at the time. So he ended up getting custody. It took 4 months, and he got her. So then I was like, oh sweet, I like how he moved. So we began being intimate with each other for a while, and within 5 months of dealing with him, I was pregnant again with his second child. through me, which is the baby boy we're fighting for. So I took a pregnancy test, came up pregnant. You guys actually watched that live pregnancy test, and I told him the next day that I was pregnant. When I told him the next day that I was pregnant, he came over. I didn't know what kind of reaction he was going to have, but the first reaction with my first daughter, and I'll play a clip where you can hear where he said I took his daughter from him and didn't tell him about her for 4 years.
You took my fucking daughter and you hid her from me for 4 fucking years.
But let's be honest, when you laid on top of me back in the day, you were dealing drugs. When you laid on top of me back in the day, we were just flinging around. And you told me, and this was a year before I got pregnant by you, if you get pregnant, you're gonna have an abortion. That's what I was told. So I went to the clinic, tried to have an abortion. It did not go through. They said my uterus was tilted and they could not seek forth the abortion because he wanted to keep his license, because should anything happen to me, he would lose his license. I ended up upset walking out of the clinic because I didn't want to go through with the pregnancy, but I went ahead with it, did the 9 months, had her. I went back and forth about whether I wanted to give her up for adoption or foster care, because I wasn't ready to take care of a baby with a man who wasn't going to help me take care of her. Somewhere in divine time and motion, I ended up in church, and the sermon was about how when we're born for a reason. So I decided to keep her. But to acclimate his wishes or seek forth his wishes, when he told me, when he laid on top of me, he wanted me to have an abortion, I said, the abortion didn't go through. Let me not just tell him I got a child by him. I'm not one of these girls that go chasing around men like, hey, you got a baby, take care of it, take care of it. I knew what it was when you told me you didn't want me to have her. So I decided to not tell him that she existed. Yeah, I kept her from him for years because he already told me he didn't want to take care of it. I got pregnant 15 years later, months ago, and I told him I was pregnant. He came right over. Within 10 minutes he was here. He laid in the bed beside me, told me, you're gonna be okay, I'm gonna be there for you. Your pregnancy, as you getting big, I'm gonna be coming over here helping you. Let's be real, my whole pregnancy he was nowhere to be found. He was a ghost, unless he was dropping off Faith. That was it. Unless he was dropping off our 15-year-old for the weekend for visits. That was it. I would ask him for cravings and he would say, you ain't got no money to pay for your cravings? No, you got me pregnant, you can't pay for my cravings. When I had the money, even if I had the money, he wasn't willing to pay for it. So there was times where I had to get him to pay for my cravings. He came to about 2 doctor's appointments. That was it. My whole pregnancy I was purchasing stuff for Ezekiel, buying him everything, and he was not helping at all. Everything I've done for Ezekiel, everything that Ezekiel has, came from me, out of my pocket, out of whatever classes I got to get certain stuff for free. The point is, I got everything on my own without his help. Now, today I talked to my social worker. I wish I would have recorded the conversation so you guys could believe me, because there's proof to everything. She said, I'm sorry, Miss Saunders, if I sound a little spicy. I am going to tell him to his face he needs to step up, because you're carrying this by yourself and he laid with you and made this baby. You're correct about that. We went to a TDM meeting. I forgot what the letter stand for, but it was at Children's Services, and the case plan was I had to live with him or he had to live with me so that we could keep the baby at home. This man did not open up his mouth. He didn't make a decision that he wanted to take the baby. He didn't do nothing. He left me and ultimately neglected the baby and left him. Now, today, again, I'm asking him, like, you know, can you get the baby? Why don't you get the baby? He's saying, I can't do it like that and you can't do it like that, because I have a case and they won't give him to me, and he's claiming I don't have room. Buddy, you have room. You have a living room upstairs and a living room downstairs. You have a kitchen upstairs and a wash area and a bedroom downstairs and a living room. You have a bench at the foot of your bed where you can move it and put Ezekiel's playpen bassinet, which is in my room, that I can give you. At any time you need me to watch him so you can run the street, have sex with different women, I got my baby. He's going to be here. I even told the case manager that I got it if he just take him. She agreed. Now, it's the fact that you're saying you don't have room. Is it you don't have room, or the baby is going to slow you down because wherever you go, you fear you might have to take him everywhere when I'm right here? Unlike you, I would never let you hang there to dry. I would never. I don't do it now, and I'm not going to do it then. I don't leave you to hang to dry when I'm supposed to get Faith on the weekends and deal with our child, our 15-year-old. I don't leave you hanging. I take care of my business, and I be here on the weekend when you drop her off, and I keep her for the weekend. Let's be honest. There are times I'm on low income, I get food benefits. There are times when I take not just my child, but his child too. He has another daughter that lives there, and I take his daughter and my daughter. I'm feeding 3 off of food benefits for 1 person. Do you think he went to the grocery store to make sure I had adequate food? No, he did not. Here I am taking your child into my home for the weekend along with her sister, and I don't have to. Here we are when you need to take our newborn son so that he could be home, and you won't do it. But I got your back when you want to throw the other child off on me with mine. And sometimes I'm telling him, like, I don't want to take her this weekend. I want to mind my business and worry about my own child because the other child is not mine. Now, and I don't agree with him throwing my child off on other people either. Like, I just don't. Because that's not nobody's responsibility but mine and yours. It's not nobody else's. Because that's just me. Now, the only thing he is worried about, like, okay, it's tax season. He wanted me to give him $1,000. He said $2,000 at first. He wanted me to give him $2,000. After he had got off the phone to see the estimates to fix his truck, he said, "You gonna give me $2,000? Absolutely not." Then he said, "I'll be cool with $1,000." I said, "Okay, we'll see." Since then, I've had that couple of thousand sitting in my bank account for weeks now, and I haven't given him anything. Why? Look at this situation. When you wanted me to give you $1,000 when you won't even step up for your son. You wanted me, let's be real, to give you $1,000 when you won't step up for your son. I'm not that type of woman. These other women can do that, but I'm not that type. Not at all. Now, my social worker said, "I'm sorry if I sound spicy, but I'm about to tell her how it is. You're carrying this case on your back by yourself." I told her that he told me, "This is your problem, not mine, but it's my son." Yeah, he said that. My social worker said, "Yeah, you could take that, but at the same time, this is his son. He needs to step up." And I'm going to tell him to his face. We're supposed to meet next month on the 8th, before court on the 11th. And she said, I'm going to tell him to his face that he needs to step up. Because ultimately, if this case goes elsewhere, he needs to step up. But I'm not going to let that happen, because I'm going to work through it with you. Because he may need to take legal custody. He keeps screaming he don't have room. So I told my social worker, I said, I want you to go to his house for a home study and show him where he has room at, because he keeps making an excuse that he don't have room. And what I want to happen is for him to tell her to her face that he don't have the room, so they can see exactly who this man is. A deadbeat. And that's my video for today. And I just felt like coming clean. I really wanted to come here and talk to you guys and be very open and vulnerable about what I'm going through. For those of you who are asking, why can't the father get him? Why can't, that's why. That's why. So, as of now, when we go to visits, after visit, he like, we gone. My legs are closed at this very moment, because you won't do for your son. I have nothing for you in this very moment. I'm not opening my legs for you until we rectify the situation with our son. And even then, I may be unattracted to you by then, because I'm unattracted to you right now. So that is the story as of why the father cannot step up. And first things first as well, I have reached 1,000 subscribers. I'm well past 1,000 right now. And I love each and one of you. This fighting the case and getting through it is like making it worth it, because people are uplifting me and telling me to keep going, telling me to keep fighting, and I really appreciate that support. I'll always remain humble because my life is humbling. You feel me? I do deserve to be unhumble because everything I went through, and I battled it by myself. But I don't brag. I just handle it humbly because my life is very humbling. I've never had a chance to take advantage of life, and that's what makes my life humbling and why I stay humble. I never said, oh, I got this in a bag when it comes to the psych eval. No, because you never know how it's gonna fall. And it fell to the point where they're trying to wrap me and basically put the baby in permanent custody. And that's that. So I will see you guys on the next one. Enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you for 1,000 followers, past 1,000 followers. Thank you for your encouragement in the comments. I really appreciate it, and I love you, and I'll see you. God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about